put that on the record, but still continue discussing it, I'm sure.
Yes, Your Honor.
Yeah, sure. Okay.
Your Honor, my apologies. I was emailing back Mr. Mead because I got an email saying that he was zooming into my Zoom room. So I was telling him to zoom to the court Zoom room. And now I see that Mr. Spittler is on Zoom. And I did talk to him on Mr. Julian. And I did change the offer from a possession to a use. Everything else stays the same though.
But it's still going to be a waiver?
I wasn't really listening.
Okay. So, Mr. Spittler, can you hear us okay?
Yeah, I'm gonna go ahead and change it on the form then.
I'm sorry. My apologies, Mr. Spittler. I thought that was you that I was speaking to earlier.
No takesies, backsies.
I know.
Right. So right now, the one on Richard Julian is as charged, no subs.
Yeah, my apologies. The person that I had spoken to was defense attorney Stephen Hanel.
Okay.
And that was on.
Yeah, so Mr. Julian, can you hear us okay? You're going to have to what they call unmute yourself if you could. There's a button that says join audio. Not seeing that. Can't tell if he can hear me. Tell me again. Mr. Spittler, with the number that you're contacting your client on that you just got off the phone with, is that the 7163 ending in 7163?
It is, Your Honor.
Okay, I'm going to see if I can get him on my phone.
Again, my apologies, Mr. Spittler. I got the wrong attorney and the wrong defendant name.
You're good, man. We all make these crazy. We got a lot of information always moving around.
Yeah, we got a lot of information out there. Maybe that was good that Mr. Julian didn't hear that. Mr. Julian, can you hear me? It's Judge Smolenski.
Yes, I can hear.
We saw you on the video, but we couldn't hear you, and we didn't think you could hear us.
No, I could not hear you.
Well, Mr. Spittler told me he had talked to you earlier and that you might be having a little problem with your video connection. So I'm just going to have you on the telephone, if that's okay.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, Mr. Spittler is on the video with me for the Zoom, so he can hear us right now. And he had indicated that up to this point, while this is scheduled for a probable cause conference today, the prosecutor offered as charged with no supplemental offenses on this 10-year felony that you're looking at of possession of methamphetamine. It doesn't mean that you'd plead to that. It means right now that that's the offer on the table and that your attorney, Mr. Spittler, would continue to discuss the case with the prosecuting attorney. But if you waived the preliminary exam today, there's no testimony taken in front of me, and the case moves on to circuit court. So far, Mr. Julian, do you understand that?
Yes, ma'am.
And Mr. Spittler, is that pretty much what you understood as to the discussions up to this time?
It is, Your Honor.
Okay. So, Mr. Julian, if you waive your preliminary exam, as I said, there's no testimony, the case would move on to circuit court, and you'll get assigned a totally different judge. It won't be me. You'll get a totally different judge at circuit court. There's also a waiver of the circuit court arraignment, which means that you don't formally go in front of the circuit judge to say not guilty. It allows me to say not guilty for you. When the case moves on to circuit court, we say not guilty on your behalf. So when Mr. Spittler continues talking to the prosecuting attorney about your case, it's with a plea of not guilty on this current charge. Do you understand that?
Yes, ma'am.
So, Mr. Julian, there's 2 documents we're going to need to send to Mr. Spittler on your behalf. One document is called the waiver of the preliminary exam, and the other document is called the waiver of the circuit court arraignment. And if you give Mr. Spittler authority to sign just those two documents on your behalf, Mr. Julian, then the circuit court will set a new date within the next 6 weeks or so that you guys will be dealing with the court downtown. Do you understand that?
Yes, ma'am.
Now, Mr. Julian, do you give Mr. Spittler authority to sign just those two documents I talked about?
Yes, I do.
Can you think of any questions that you have at all at this point, Mr. Julian?
No, ma'am.
All right, Mr. Spittler, can you think of any questions that you have?
I don't have any, Your Honor.
So, Mr. Julian, I'm going to just send the two documents to your attorney. Mr. Spittler will be in contact with you, Mr. Julian, when your new date is set up. I don't know it right now, and neither does he. But when he gets the new date, he'll tell you right away. Do you understand?
Yes, ma'am.
And Mr. Julian, if any questions come up, like stuff, I don't know, that you can't think of right now, just call Mr. Spittler to ask him when those questions do come up. Are you with me?
Yes, ma'am.
In the meanwhile, we ask you to be squeaky clean. No criminal offenses of any kind, no drug-related cases, no drug involvement. Are you with me?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. Mr. Spittler, can you think of anything else?
No, Your Honor. Thank you.
So the bond stays exactly the way it is, Mr. Julian. Just follow the rules, okay? If you have questions, call your attorney, Mr. Spittler.
I sure will. Thank
All right.
you very much.
I'm going to hang up now. Thanks for being available by phone.
You're welcome.
And thanks for trying to hook up on the video. All right, see you later. Bye. Okay, thank you, Mr. Spittler. That's it for your case.
Thank you, Judge. Have a good day.
You bet. Peace to you. Mr. Tarango, did you hear anything from Mr. Mead on the Matthew Walling case?
Checking right now, Your Honor. No, I sent him the email asking him to log into your courtroom, and that was it.
Okay, let me call Mr. Mead, see if I have any idea what's going on with him, because now it's about 25 after, and normally we would have heard something. A lot of times he'll have his clients right with him, so I don't know.
Good morning, Mead Law. Can I help you?
Yeah, it's Judge Sara Smolenski looking for Martin Mead, if you know if he's around.
He is. Let me go ahead and interrupt him. Can you hold?
We're getting a bad connection, I don't know why.
Oh,
Okay, that's better. That's better. Yeah, see if you can get him. We have a probable cause conference with him with a client by the name of Matthew Walling.
yeah.
So we're just looking for them because it was at 10:15. We haven't heard from him.
All right. I'll transfer you over to him.
Thank you.
Okay.
Thank you.
Morning, Judge. How are you?
Good, Mr. Mead. I have you on speakerphone here with attorney Felix Tarango, who's on Zoom. We were wondering what was happening on your Matthew Walling case that was set for 10:15 PC this morning.
Well, I've been sitting in Mr. Tarango's waiting room since
Oh,
5 after 10.
that's probably why, because we were thinking you were going to zoom into my court.
We can do that.
No, yeah. Why don't you zoom into our court and then I'll put you and Mr. Tarango in a room so you guys can talk a minute.
Okay, no problem. I'll be right there.
All right, thanks. Bye-bye.
Bye.
Okay, he was in your waiting room, it sounds like, on your other Zoom room. So he's going to zoom into the court and then we can have you guys talk a minute, see where you're at.
Thank you.
No.